Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. Instead of me just drawing on my iPad or my bigger tablet, we're going to be drawing on the Microsoft Surface. So long story short, my friends and I got together for a little Christmas exchange. It was very late because we didn't have time to get together when Christmas was actually starting. So we decided to do it now, like recently. It was like literally last weekend, and we basically exchanged gifts, and to my pleasant surprise, one of my friends is very generous. She gifted me this because she got a new one. She told me she got like probably the newer model of this one. This model is the Pro 7 Plus, I believe. So what I did was to make the drawing experience a little bit easier, because I did try this without a screen protector, so just drawing on the pure glass, it was very slippery and I didn't like the feeling of it. So I did buy a matte screen protector. It doesn't really have the best anti-glare, if I'm being honest, but you know, it does the job and it has a little bit more friction. Let's get into the drawing, and yeah. We're gonna be doing the drawing today in Clip Studio Paint. I was able to download my Clip Studio Paint onto this tablet, and we're going to be drawing in there today. Alright, let's get started. So for today's drawing, we will be drawing Kaya from Genshin Impact. So far, when sketching on this tablet, it wasn't too bad, I would say. The experience was alright. I definitely say I prefer sketching on the iPad better. I think just the overall feeling of the Apple Pencil is better in my personal opinion. The tip of the Microsoft Surface Pencil did kind of have like this plastic covering with like a little, at the tip there is like a felt material, and I thought it was okay, but it wasn't really consistent, I would say. Some of the strokes that I made felt a little bit more wobbly, especially when drawing without a screen protector. It definitely feels a little more wobbly than it does with a screen protector. I think the screen protector definitely helped in diminishing more of the wobbliness and made my lines definitely more consistent throughout the sketching process. Another interesting thing about this pen as well is there is an eraser at the top of the pen. Similar to like Wacom tablet pens, you can use it as an eraser, so if I flip over the pen, I can easily erase something without having to push a button or like the hotkey for the eraser. I found this to be a bit tedious because usually I'm used to just pressing the side button of my tablet pen and then I can easily access the eraser. I found it a bit restricting since I couldn't customize the buttons on the pen like normal tablets. Usually you can customize the buttons of your pen to change it to your preference, so that was something I was kind of disappointed in. I don't know what the side button was for, but for some reason it didn't really work for me, so that didn't really do much for my it didn't really add too much to my drawing experience. Since there is kind of a lack of customization, another unfortunate thing you cannot do with the Surface Pen is adjusting the pen pressure. So usually when you buy specific drawing tablets, they always come with the driver software, which allows you to adjust any kind of pen pressure or customize anything on the tablet. Unfortunately, you cannot do that with the Surface. Luckily, Clip Studio Paint does have a function in their settings where you can adjust the pen pressure when you use the program. I definitely felt like I had a hard time adjusting my pen pressure. I definitely tried several times adjusting it, I found that the pen was definitely good at making like thicker lines, but when it came to the sensitivity of making like thinner lines or like lighter lines, it definitely did not register that as well. So that was something I had a bit difficulty with. So like, for example, if you are an artist who often does line work in your art, this pen probably isn't for you, I would say. If you do like more of a painterly style like me, I didn't find too much trouble with the pen pressure as much because I do not really use pen pressure as much when it comes to drawing. But definitely, if I were to do line work, I would definitely not use this tablet. I would definitely probably use my bigger screen tablet that I have currently. Another thing I would like to mention is the Surface, when I downloaded Clip Studio Paint, usually I'm used to my desktop version of it, but on the Surface, the version of Clip Studio Paint is more like the iPad version. So it was kind of interesting to use. It definitely took some time to getting used to because I wasn't really familiar with all the buttons and I had to organize the workspace a little bit more. You can use hotkeys, so I did try to connect my keyboard to the Surface so I could at least have access to my hotkeys, but definitely it was I ended up not using as much as I thought I would. I mostly did use my keyboard to change the size of my pen because I was constantly changing it, and I realized I didn't like changing it by just touching it on the screen. So when I was drawing, I did like that I had more, I guess, flexibility, kind of like similar to drawing on Procreate. I could toggle the canvas with my 2 fingers, and the hotkeys for the Clip Studio is similar to Procreate as well. So like, for example, 2 fingers is undo and 3 fingers tap is redo. So that was like something that was similar. So it felt more like the drawing experience felt more like an app experience rather than just sketching or drawing on a desktop program. One thing I did not like was sometimes the palm rejection on the Surface wasn't like as great. Sometimes definitely when I would draw, the size of my pen would somehow change because I accidentally pressed something, or my canvas would move rapidly because the palm rejection wasn't working. So that was one con I didn't like. I also heard that possibly it could be because the screen protector does mess with the sensitivity of the screen. So like when I was trying to color pick, when doing the coloring stage of this drawing, it definitely got annoying because sometimes the color picker wouldn't register which color I was picking. So that was something I experienced. But I would say the pro to this tablet was I liked the colors. I think overall the colors on the Surface is pretty accurate and it's consistent. Like compared to when I draw on my computer, I definitely feel like my colors are duller. That could also be because of my computer. It's kind of a bit on the older side and the graphics card isn't as up to date. But I definitely felt like the Surface colors were very vibrant, and I really liked that it felt like how I see the colors on like my iPad, and I was very happy with the results of when doing the coloring process to this drawing. Another thing that's nice about the Surface is being able to adjust the angle you can draw at, because on the back of the Surface there is a pop out kind of stand thing where you can adjust what angle you want to draw at. I thought this was pretty comfortable. I didn't feel any kind of wear or strain in my arm while I was drawing for long periods of time. That was definitely a pro, I would say. And also, since this tablet is technically a computer, it's also really nice to be able to surf the web or kind of like find references, like when I needed to like just look up something really quick. That was also a nice feature that I really do appreciate. And I would also say this tablet is very lightweight and very on-the-go friendly. Definitely feels like a notebook. So I did like take it out with me one time when I was out and about and running errands. So it didn't feel too heavy. I put it like in my book bag, and it was pretty easy to access, getting it out and just being able to draw when I wanted to. So I would say that is another pro that I really do like about this tablet. I would say another pro is there's not that many wires. So usually screen tablets often have a lot of wires because either they have like a 3-in-1 cable, so having the power plug and the HDMI, and then kind of like sometimes it's a USB cable you also need to use for extra power. That's often something you need in regular tablets, but the Surface, since it is its own laptop, you don't have as many wires. I only had to worry about it when I was low on battery, so it does have like a pretty lightweight charging cord, and that was pretty much it. I would say the battery life on this thing was actually really great. It didn't run out of battery super fast, and I could use it for, I would say, long periods of time without it being plugged in. And when I did need to plug it in, it would charge pretty quickly. So if you do like having that longer battery life, I would say this is kind of something you could possibly consider. I know I do compare this tablet a lot to the iPad. If you do prefer use the iPad, that definitely also has pretty much the similar functions. Just depends on your preference on whether you like using the Apple products or you like using a Windows product. I think the iPad definitely has more variety of apps you can use, while the Surface is limited to only drawing programs that you can download. And yeah, overall, I definitely would use this tablet. I think, again, I don't think it would be my main drawing source, but I think I definitely would like to use it for like smaller things, like maybe designing merch or just sketching in general. But yeah, overall, I think I had a pretty good drawing experience. Yeah, and I think Kaya turned out really great. I definitely had a lot of fun drawing him, and yeah, it was my first time drawing him. So yeah, see you in the next video, and hope you enjoy my review on the Microsoft Surface.